Hello YouTube, today we are going to be talking about UFC Fight Night, Usman versus Buckley, and my entire card predictions. Just like last time, this is my second prediction video, so we're going to be copying the format from the first one. We're going to be starting with the main event and working our way all the way to the first prelim fight in that order. UFC Fight Night, Usman versus Buckley will be the last time the UFC has visited Atlanta since UFC 236, Holloway vs. Poirier 2 on April 13th, 2019. It will take place in State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia, and we're in for a very fun card. Without dilly-dallying, let's get into this main event. Number 5, Kamaru Usman takes on unranked Joaquin Buckley at welterweight. Now, a couple really big facts about this fight that I have to point out. Number 1, Usman has not fought since October of 2023. And Buckley hasn't lost since 2022 when he lost to Chris Curtis by KO. Usman's on a 3-fight losing streak. Leon back-to-back and Hamzat once. Buckley's on a 6-fight win streak. And you'll remember his last fight almost knocked Colby Covington's face off in December. Knocked out Wonderboy 2 months before that. To be fair, Buckley is considered the king of the old guard at this point in a lot of people's eyes. A lot of his opponents have been much older. The Colby Covington fight was kind of ridiculous. The Wonderboy fight, I believe Wonderboy had to have been 40-41 by that point. I'm excited to see Joaquin Buckley fight younger fighters. I just keep seeing comments about Usman's knees and how he has no knee cartilage. He's not going to be able to wrestle. Joaquin Buckley is going to just destroy him. And I look at all the odds. Usman plus 230, Buckley minus 280, which isn't bad. It could be worse. I mean, you could say Buckley's going to run away with this one, but I have an odd prediction coming up soon. Kamaru is heavier. Kamaru is also a little bit taller at 6 foot, while Buckley's 5'10". Usman is older, 38 to Buckley's 31, a 7-year age gap there, and they have an identical 76-inch reach. Let's get into some more stats. They land at the same rate. Usman, unbelievable 64% accuracy. Unbelievable career accuracy on Usman. It's nuts. Usman is the better wrestler historically on paper, but he doesn't have any knees. It's going to be difficult to wrestle. It's a fact. It's not just a meme. It's actually a problem for Usman. I have Buckley by decision. I think this is going to be a war, but not in the back and forth aspect. I think Usman's going to take a beating. I think the 2 years off may help Usman's chin. I know his knees have deteriorated since then. That's the report going around. But I think the 2 years off help Usman. And I think we get a good fight. I think maybe 4-1 Buckley, like one of the first 2 rounds, Usman gets a close round. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would say Buckley unanimous decision, 4-1 if I had to guess. I could also see Buckley winning by knockout or submission. I could see Buckley winning by whatever he wants, in a sense. Not like, but the last time I said that was patchy mix, so I'm an idiot. This gets Buckley ranked if he wins. Usman might even have to retire. Let's talk about the opposite. If Usman wins, he then wants Islam Makhachev. And that's not all. If you haven't seen this interview, it's actually the craziest thing I've ever watched. Usman's delirious. Then he wants to move up for a super fight with Dricus. What? He's 38. Like, that would take... Let's just say it happened. He'd be 40 by the time that all happened at the rate at which he fights. He'd have to... No. That would be cool. I mean, if Usman, came back, but it's not possible. I don't see it happening. Buckley is also, like I said, getting this new nickname as the king of the old guard. I keep seeing it on Twitter. I'm excited for this fight, surprisingly. I think a lot of people are saying this might be the worst main event of June because we got Hill Roundtree coming up and we have other fights coming up, like Ilya Charles. This is the worst main event of June, but that's saying something. This could be a much worse fight, and also, this could be the last time we get to watch Kamaru fight. So I'm excited for it. Buckley by decision. Let's hop into the next fight. Let's dive right into the co-main. Rose Namajunas, the 7th-ranked women's flyweight contender versus 11th-ranked Miranda Maverick. Namajunas coming off a unanimous decision loss to Erin Blanchfield back in November. 2-3 in her last 5 fights, all by some type of decision. And then you have Miranda Maverick on a 4-fight win streak, 3 of the last 4 by decision, the other by submission. Maverick's kind of being put up against a legend of the sport, and it's going to be interesting to see how she responds. She's 17-5. Oh, like I said, 11th ranked. Interesting position for her in an interesting division. She could make some movement. This fight could get her into will get her into the top 10, in my opinion, if she wins it. Let's get into the tail of the tape just a little bit. Rose is 5'5", Miranda's 5'3". Rose is 32, Miranda 27, which I thought Rose has been around for much longer than she has been. She has been around for a long time. That's not what I'm saying. It's just I assume she would be older compared to some of her peers. She's not. Rose, 65-inch reach. Miranda has the advantage, 65.5-inch reach. Miranda, much more accurate striker through her career. Rose is the better wrestler, while Miranda lands more takedowns in her fights. I'd say they have about an equal submission threat at this point in their careers. The odds on this fight, Rose comes in at minus 255. I'm not entirely sure why with her current skid. Maverick plus 205 on a 4-fight win streak. I see this as easy money. Maverick by submission. And this is just kind of a Hail Mary shot by me. I want to see this one happen. This would be her 9th professional submission, 3rd in the UFC. I also think it's the least likely way the fight ends. This would kind of put her on the map. A big win on a co-main of a fight night. This is co-main for a reason, I also want to say. There are other fights on this card, especially on this main card. It could have been Edmund Shabazian versus Andre Petroski. Cody Garbrandt could have gotten a co-main. I mean, honestly, anybody. Alonzo Menefield, Omar Sy could have even gotten there if they wanted to, because heavyweights always kind of get weird spots on main cards. But I'm excited for this co-main. Miranda Maverick by submission, and if I had to guess, 2nd round. Next up, Edmund Shabazian versus Andre Petroski, men's middleweight matchup. Edmund's last 3 wins have been by knockout. Not in a row. He's 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Petroski's on a 3-fight win streak, all by unanimous decision, which is, he's cleaning up. He's having a very good streak right now. This is going to be a very entertaining fight. That's why I said it could have been co-main. Edmund's 6'2", Andre's 6 foot. Edmund is younger by 6 years. He's 27. Andre is 33. Edmund has the reach advantage with 75-inch reach. Andre 73. Edmund is the better striker. Andre is the more accurate striker. Edmund will throw a lot more and land more. Andre will throw less, but hit you at a better percentage. You see that a lot on this card, if I'm being honest. I'm going to say that a few more times. It's just how a lot of these fights matched up. Andre's definitely the better wrestler and the better submission artist. Here's the thing about Edmund Shabazian. Edmund has 12 knockouts. 12 of his 14 wins are knockouts. Why would I disagree? 13th knockout's coming. Edmund, by knockout in this fight, I see him coming in as the favorite. I'm not going to disagree with that. I think Edmund is the favorite in this fight. He is a close favorite, I will say that. And I just think this fight is going to have a lot of pop. I think this fight is going to be a close one, but then Edmund catches him with a big shot. Edmund Shabazian by knockout. The next fight is one of the weirdest, if not the weirdest on the main card. Cody Garbrandt versus Raoni Barcelos at bantamweight. Now, Cody hasn't fought since UFC 300 in April of 2024. A loss to Divson Figueiredo by submission. And if you're wondering why you know Raoni Barcelos' name, if you're not more into this sport, Barcelos is coming off a huge upset win against Peyton Talbot. One of the biggest upsets, probably the biggest upset this year, if I had to guess. He also got knocked out by Umar once. I wanted to mention that. Cody is 33. Raoni is 38. Cody Garbrandt has a reach of 65.5 inches. Raoni 67 inches. Cody's 5'8". Raoni 5'7". And let's get into the odds a little bit because, I've mentioned, he has the reach advantage, the height advantage. Cody Garbrandt has, 20 fights. He's 14-6, while Raoni's 19-5. But I think the odds makers are riding this hype train over the Peyton Talbot win. I think, and of course Vegas is 99% of the time not wrong whenever I say they're going to be wrong. I just don't see Cody Garbrandt as a plus 170 walking into this fight. Raoni's the better striker and more accurate. Raoni's also the better wrestler, so some of my Statistics don't really back it up, but I'm expecting Cody Garbrandt to get out of this skid. I'm expecting Cody Garbrandt to go on one little last run. Do I think it's a title run against Merab? No. Do I think he'll get a couple more fights in it? I don't think he ends his career as like 14-9 or 14-10. Like, I just don't see that for Cody Garbrandt, a huge losing streak for him. Cody Garbrandt by decision is my official pick. Gets him off the skid and also ends the Raoni hype train. You never know what we're going to see from Raoni at 38. Could retire off this fight. You never know. Just predicting things if it happens. It'd be cool that I said it, but Cody Garbrandt by decision. And Sir Abdul Malik versus Cody Brundage. A weird fight. There are some fights on this card where they're just huge favorites. We're going to talk about one of those in a little bit. This one, Abdul Malik walks in minus 800 favorite. Cody Brundage plus 500 underdog. Abdul Malik is 2-0 in the UFC, both by knockout. Brundage coming off a first-round knockout loss to Julian Marquez in March. Odds are a little bit long to me. I think Abdul Malik's a favorite. I think Abdul Malik wins this fight, but minus 800 is a little bit crazy. Malik's 27, Brundage 31. Malik has a 7.5 reach advantage, 79.5 inches compared to Brundage's 72. Malik, in his limited experience, throws more, lands more. Cody's the more accurate. Like I said, I'd be saying that a couple times this entire card. Cody's also the better wrestler. If he can use his wrestling to his advantage, this could be a decision win for him. And I don't think Malik finds the knockout. I think he finally catches somebody with a lot of experience. I'm going to go Malik by decision here. I think Brundage wrestles him a little bit, but I think Malik gets him on the feet, and I think he wins 2-1. I think if Brundage is going to win a round, it's going to be wrestling. Malik by decision. The last and technically first fight on the main card, number 15, Alonzo Menafield versus Umar Sy at light heavyweight. Menafield plus 450 underdog, Sy minus 700. Like I said before, a lot of big favorites on this card. Menafield coming off a split decision win over Johnny Walker. That is partially why these odds are like that, I'm not going to lie. Johnny Walker has been kind of put into the dirt in his last 5 fights, a couple embarrassing knockouts. So split decision win, especially, it's not the most impressive thing when it's against Johnny Walker at this stage. Menafield is 37 years old. Sy is just 29. Sy is also undefeated at 11-0, as you can see on the screen. Menafield's 16-5-1. Menafield's 6 foot. Sy has a 4-inch height advantage, 6'4". This one's crazy. Menafield's 76-inch reach and maybe one of the biggest, if not the biggest, reach advantage on the card. Sy, 83-inch reach. That is a 7-inch reach advantage. I'd say they're about equal in striking. Sy has the better wrestling. I'm going to say Sy by knockout, his first UFC knockout. Maybe a little bit of a bold prediction, but I think the odds are completely right on this one. I think if it's not by knockout, Sy is going to win by decision. I don't expect this one to be close. I expect Sy to get ranked from this one and Menafield to lose his ranking. Sy by knockout. The end of the prelims, Paul Craig versus Rodolfo Bellato at men's light heavyweight. Paul Craig's on a 3-fight losing streak, and he just lost to Bo Nickel in not the best fashion. Has lost by submission, knockout, and decision in his last 3. Bellato's coming off a draw in his UFC debut, 12-2-1. Can't fit it on the screen. I wanted to mention that draw. Bellato is typically a finish machine, however. Both are 6'3". Craig is 37 to Bellato's 29 years of age. Bellato has a 77-inch reach, while Craig 76 each. Bellato with the advantage. Both are not the greatest wrestlers. And what we've seen, Bellato is a hell of a striker. I have Bellato by decision. I think Craig survives this fight. I think Bellato's going to maul him, but I don't expect Craig to get punished. I don't expect him to get foolishly knocked out, like a wobbly knock. I just don't see Paul Craig going down like that. Kind of a name in this sport, a reliable name in this sport. I see Bellato winning by decision here. Next up, Michael Chiesa versus Court McGee, men's welterweight. Michael Chiesa, minus 380 favorite walking into this one. Court McGee, plus 290. Chiesa has won his last 2 by submission, beating Max Griffin and Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson's not the biggest win in the world. He has 7 submissions in his UFC career. McGee is coming off a win over Tim Means by submission. Was on a 3-fight losing streak before that, however. McGee has never lost by submission. So 2 guys coming off submission wins, 1 guy who's never lost by submission. This is a fun one. Chiesa is 6'1", McGee 5'11". 75.5-inch reach for Chiesa over McGee's 75-inch reach. McGee is the more high-output striker. Chiesa the more accurate. Chiesa has an incredible 48.8% takedown percentage in his UFC career, as well as 3.3 takedowns per fight. I have Chiesa's experience winning him this one. Chiesa by decision here. Probably going to be a little bit of a wrestling match. I could see McGee catching him with a submission off his back, something like that, something crafty. But I have Chiesa winning this one by decision. The biggest favorite on this card, Malcolm Wellmaker versus Chris Moutinho at bantamweight. Malcolm Wellmaker is, at the time of writing this, is a minus 1450 favorite. That is 1,450. Chris Moutinho plus 850. Malcolm is 9-0. Got 1 knockout in his UFC debut, 1 on the Dana White Contender Series. Chris, you'll remember his last fight, stepped up on short notice against Sean O'Malley and did not get knocked out. I think it was a doctor stoppage because he was just getting mauled in that fight. But since then is 5-0 since leaving the UFC. I'm throwing a Hail Mary on this one. Moutinho knockout over Wellmaker. Wellmaker's kind of a new guy, and Moutinho's got the experience, even if it's outside the UFC. A 5-fight win streak's a 5-fight win streak. And it would just be the story of the year if Moutinho could. And this would also get Moutinho a job in the UFC. This gets another interesting bantamweight now with a 15-6 record at that point if he wins. While Malcolm Wellmaker is making a case at bantamweight, he's undefeated. That 9-0 record looks pretty. 10-0 record would look prettier. We're kind of trying to build this division as best we can. Moutinho by knockout. There's no evidence to back up this pick. Do not make this pick. Do not bet this. Wellmaker's a monster, but I have a gut feeling on this one. Moutinho by KO. Next up on the prelims, we have Cody Durden versus Jose Ochoa. If you thought Joshua Van was fun last week, let me introduce you to Jose Ochoa. He is coming off a UFC debut loss to Loner Kavan. Only loss of his pro career, 7-1, as you can see on the screen. Durden 1-3 in his last 4. Lost to aforementioned Joshua Van. They're both 5'7", 10-year age advantage for Ochoa. He's only 24 years old. To Durden's 34. This is experience versus new. This is a very fun one. The UFC likes to do these types of matchups. Durden has a takedown advantage, and we haven't seen much from Jose in that regard. And I'm going Jose Ochoa by knockout. His first UFC knockout. I have a couple of those on this card. Like I said, I think, I don't think it's just a flatline KO. I think it's punches. I think it's he catches him with a shot, wobbles him, catches him on the ground and pound shots. But Jose Ochoa by knockout for his first UFC knockout of his career. The next fight on this card is one I didn't exactly really want to talk about. Ricky Simone versus Cameron Smotherman at men's bantamweight. Simone minus 660, Smotherman plus 400. I really want to see Charles Jourdain fight here. I had Jourdain by decision if he did fight here. Third fight in the UFC for Smotherman. It is just a weird one. He's stepping out on a week or so's notice. I don't think this is a good business decision by Smotherman. I think Ricky Simone, I don't even think it's close. Decision win by Ricky Simone. Not much to talk about this one. I don't, like I said, don't think it's a very genius idea, if that makes sense. Simone's a wrestling machine, 5 takedowns a fight, 44% takedown accuracy. I just see, and he's 29 years old. I see him beating Smotherman here. And another win for Ricky Simone at bantamweight. Next up on the prelims, Phil Rowe versus Ainge Lusa at welterweight. One of the closest fights on the card. Rowe is a plus 114 underdog. Lusa minus 135 favorite. And I want to mention this odd as well. Under 2.5 rounds is plus 210. The odds makers have this one going to decision. Rowe has not fought in a full year. Lost his last 2 fights by decision. Before that, he was on a 3 knockout streak. Rowe is 6'3", 80.5-inch, 34 years old. Worse at striking compared to Lusa and takedowns. and kind of everything. They're similar in accuracy, but it looks like Rowe is the worst fighter here with similar records at 10-5 and 10-4. Lusa also almost hasn't fought in a year, coming off a loss to Gabriel Bonfim. Lusa's 5'10", 74-inch reach, 32 years old, better in all regards statistically. I'm going with the underdog. Rowe by KO. It rhymes. There's no way I'm not going to say it. That's the only reason I'm betting this one. You may hate that. I love it. Rowe by KO. And last but not least, to end off the prelims, Jamie Lynn Horth versus Vanessa Demopoulos. Women's flyweight matchup. Jamie Lynn Horth, massive favorite at minus 520. Demopoulos plus 320. Horth is 2-2 in the UFC. All of her fights have been by decision, coming off a loss to the co-main competitor Miranda Maverick. First fight of 2025 for Horth. Horth is a kickboxer. Horth is also 35 years old, 66-inch reach, which is a 7-inch reach advantage over Demopoulos. Better accuracy, better at takedowns. I will say Vanessa lands more strikes per minute. Vanessa on a 2-fight losing streak, also only has 1 finish in 9 fights. I don't expect a finish here. I expect Jamie Lynn Horth to move to 8-2. Jamie Lynn Horth by decision, and not only that, unanimous decision. Book it. Check out the links for my Instagram and Twitter and TikTok below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. The next video you'll be seeing from me is most likely going to be reactions from this one, maybe next matchup, such and such. The next preview video you'll be seeing out of me is the Hill versus Roundtree fight night next week. I hope you guys enjoyed my picks. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the fights tomorrow and have a good one.